Without knowledge of their past, history, culture and origin is like a tree without its roots. Here at DS Media, we take you through the Malindi historical circuits. This is Fresh from Malindi with me, Sophia Rukwaro. Welcome. Welcome to DS Media. Today we are at the Museum of Kenya and we will be talking to one of the people who are in charge to get more knowledge. Welcome, sir. Please tell us your name and your role.
Thank you very much. My name is Omar Abdallah. I'm the administrator of Malindi Museum.
Okay. And for how long have you been here?
I've been here for more than 10 years.
And how can you say work has been for you?
The work is very smooth. We are doing very well. And our mandate as the National Museum of Kenya is a state parastatal or a government parastatal which was established in 1910 under the National Museums and Heritage No. 6 Act of Kenya. And among our mandates is to serve as national repository for things of scientific, cultural, technological, and human interest. Another mandate is to identify, protect, conserve, and transmit the cultural and natural heritage of Kenya.
So what are the challenges that you have had so far?
Currently, the challenges are due to the pandemic. There are no visitors. And we are understaffed. Because of the pandemic, we have to work on shift basis, especially the auxiliary staffs and the junior staffs. Because of the pandemic, we have to release some of our staff to be at home. So they work on shift basis. Another challenge is the revenue. Currently, we don't earn revenue, visitors revenue, because of the pandemic. There are no visitors. They are locked down and there are no visitors. So our revenue is very low or we don't earn anything. So we are financially constrained because most of the activities cannot be done for lack of funds.
How many sections do you have here at the Museum of Malindi?
Yeah, we have a historical circuit. This is the administration block. Consists of the Malindi Heritage Complex. Then we have the House of Columns. We have the Portuguese Chapel and the Vasco da Gama pillar.
Okay, stay tuned as we take you through all these wonderful places.
We are at the Wahili Gallery. Here we have a dhow. The Swahili's main economic activity is fishing and traveling by sea. So they use dhows to transport goods to Far East and at the same time to bring goods from Far East to Malindi. Next to the dhow we have the utensils which are used by Swahilis. We have various types of kettles for serving tea, for serving coffee, and for washing hands. Here we have copper kettle, and we have copper tray, small copper tray. used to serve food. These are the Swahilis, we can say, local machines for making local spaghetti.
Oh, wow.
These are tools used by Swahilis to make local spaghettis.
How do they do that?
They use flour, dough,
Okay.
then they squeeze here.
Oh, here.
They put here,
okay.
and then they squeeze, and spaghetti comes out. Here we have a Swahili bowl game, and different communities have their own different bowl games.
Oh.
So this is the Swahilis. They use these types of bowl games.
To play.
They play during evenings, during special occasions.
Right.
It's part of their tradition to play this game. They normally use in the evenings.
Okay.
Because they're from work and they are not relaxing, so they go, they meet and they play this game. We are at the underwater galleries. We have artifacts or items which were found during the underwater excavations on shipwrecks.
Okay.
As we can see, we have the cinnabar pieces, we have the stone cannonball, which was used earlier before the advent of the iron balls, cannonballs. We have the mercury, and we have the copper ingots, a copper which was molded.
Okay.
So these are the items which were found during underwater excavations. We have the stone anchor, which was found in shipwrecks. And we have other items in the next gallery. Here we have an ivory, which was found or recovered in Gomeni shipwreck. And it measured between 20 and 40 kilograms. The Mijikenda Gallery.
Okay.
The economic activities is livestock and it's farming and livestock rearing. They have a system of leadership, and they have their attires. They have their musical instruments during celebrations, and we have the vigangos, which they used in graves, and there is the kaya settlement, how they design their kayas and how they settle in their kayas.
Oh, okay. So the Mijikenda is a big group.
It's a big group, consists of 9 tribes.
Okay.
9 tribes, namely Digo, Kauma, Chonyi, Jibana, Kambe, Ribe, Rabai, and Giriama.
The second is the House of Columns, which is home for the peculiar findings in the marine, the most outstanding being the Sri Lanka.
Okay, we are at the Malindi Museum, which is now known as the House of Columns.
Okay.
This building was built in 1890s, and it was believed that to be owned by the Indian trader and later bought by the British government. Okay. So the building changed hands to the first hospital in Malindi, then to the wildlife department, fisheries department, game department, and finally was handed over to the National Museums of Kenya in 2002.
Okay.
So the National Museums of Kenya got funds from the German embassy, and the renovations started in 2002, and it was officially opened in 2004 as a museum. The building hosts the Sri Lanka collection, which is this fish, the rare fish, and the web library.
Okay. So what is the beauty of this fish?
This fish is a strange catch. It was caught in 2001 by 28 crews who were going fishing along the Malindi Ocean. They caught this type of fish and they were very curious and scared because these were rare fish. They have not seen one. So they decided to send it to the fisheries department. The fisheries department examined the fish and further sent it to the National Museums of Kenya for further research. And the National Museums of Kenya did research about this fish, and it was confirmed that this is a very rare fish. This fish is no longer existing. It's very rare. And its lifespan, it was found long time ago, millions of years ago.
Okay.
So even the government gave comments about this fish. This was the fishing boat, MV Venture, which was on a trip fishing, on a trip fishing for prawns. And when they pulled their trolling net, and the crew were very surprised to see the strange catch. These were the crews, 28 crews with their captain. They argued what to do with the fish. Some were scared, thinking that it was an evil and wanted to throw it back to the sea, into the sea. But the captain insisted that on keeping it. So he ordered his crew to keep it in the cold storage.
All right.
So it was later sent to the fisheries department for further examinations and research about the fish. And finally, it was later sent to the National Museum of Kenya. Different fish have different feelings. Here we have a demonstration on how Sri Lanka fish feels. So we place our hands to feel how Sri Lanka fish feels, because the Sri Lanka fish feelings are different. Because Sri Lanka fish is very soft, as opposed to other fish.
Okay.
We have other types of fish which distinguishes from the Sri Lanka fish. That's why it says it wasn't me which was caught in the sea. This is a blue marlin.
Third is the Portuguese Chapel.
We are at the Portuguese Chapel.
Okay.
This church was built in the 15th century by the Portuguese. Before St. Francis Xavier came to Malindi to bury his two sailors while en route to Goa. Then in the second voyage of Vasco da Gama, some soldiers were buried here. They died in the ship, and between 17th to 19th century, Malindi declined. It was described as ruined and deserted. But the graveyard was later used to bury the first British colonial administrator, Mr. J. Bill Smith, was buried here in 1895. And it was used occasionally until 1958.
That was it.
That was it.
So they used to come here and pray.
They used to come here and pray, and soldiers who died in the ships, the Vasco da Gama soldiers, were buried here.
Okay.
And the first pioneer, the colonial pioneer, Lawford, was also buried here. But the burials stopped in 1958. So the church was declared was gazetted as a national monument in 1935. So the church is protected under the Equities Act and is preserved and taken care by the National Museums of Kenya. And this church is among the oldest church in East Africa.
Wow.
among the oldest Catholic church in East Africa.
Okay. So do people come here and pray?
Yes,
or?
they come here.
Okay.
The Catholics come here during December for feast of the Saint Francis Xavier.
Yeah. Amazing. Finally, is the Vasco da Gama pillar.
The Vasco da Gama pillar was built by Vasco da Gama in 1498. Visitors frequently visit the pillar. We receive the local and foreign visitors. And it was built to show directions as well as a good gesture between the Vasco da Gama and the Sheikh of Malindi. Initially it was built near the Sheikh's palace, but Muslims were discontented, were not happy because of the cross. So they erected the pillar, and after some times Vasco da Gama insisted to the Sheikh to move it from the initial place to this place. So the pillar was erected and moved to this place in the 16th century.
Okay.
And Vasco da Gama came to Malindi in 1498 after proven to be qualified as a navigator by King Manuel of Portugal to outflank the Muslims traders along the Indian Ocean, as well as to discover the sea route to India.
So he built all this alone?
With his soldiers,
with his soldiers.
His team.
Or the ones you showed us, that some of them died. Okay. Where did he die?
He died in Cochin, India in 1524.
Okay. And for how long was he here in Malindi?
In Malindi, he came in 1498, went to India and came back in 1512. Then he went again to India and died in India in 1524.
And how do you
So his men settled here for quite a long time.
Okay.
They built the chapel. Some of the soldiers died and were buried at the chapel.
Amazing. And apart from this, do you have any other places in Malindi? You know, in Malindi, any historical other sites, or this is
The
what
museum, under the museum.
Yeah, under the museum. So which are the
We
other?
have the Gede Museum,
Okay.
which is 20 kilometers from Malindi. It is a historical museum. It is an ancient museum which was built in the 12th century.
I guess that should be our
It
next
was
stop.
a town, an ancient town.
So the whole place.
The museum, the Gede Museum.
So any maybe closing remarks for people, you know, want to come here?
The National Museums of Kenya, Malindi Museum, encourage the local and foreign visitors to visit our historical sites and cherish our heritage. We kindly request you to visit our sites. Wageni sio wazungu peke yao, watalii sio wazungu peke yao, hata nyinyi wa Afrika ni watalii. Karibuni Malindi.
This is just a scoop of the many historical sites preserved for you, me and the future generation. Stay tuned at DS Media as we unfold so many other new places. This is Fresh from Malindi with me, Sophia Rukwaro.